Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the July 8th council meeting. Roll call, please.
Brewster.
Here.
Walters.
Here.
Barden.
Here.
Ewert. Here. Benner.
Here.
Barton. Here. Crum.
Here.
Thompson.
Here.
So tonight's invocation will be given by Brian Sanders from the First Baptist Church, Haysville.
Would you pray with me? Father, I thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight, God. Lord, I thank you for these men and women who serve our city, Lord, and for the positions of authority that they have and how they are here because they love this community and they want to see good things happen. Lord, I think of your word. You tell us in Proverbs 11:10 that when the godly succeed, the city rejoices. So, Lord, I pray that the things that happen in this room would just be pleasing to you, and God, that they would be good for our city, and that you would just be pleased with all of it and just lead and guide them as they make decisions, policies. And Lord, we just ask all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we have a special order of business tonight. A, Police Department promotion.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This evening we have a promotion of an officer within our department to the rank of sergeant. The rank of sergeant is a supervisory position which currently fills the role of our shift supervisors. Candidates are eligible for these positions based on their experience and are evaluated through testing. Tonight we have Tracy Roniger. He spent 25 years working in the aircraft industry. Tracy, if you want to step up here. 25 years working in the aircraft industry. During the same time, he also worked for over 18 years in law enforcement, including 12 years as a Sedgwick County Reserve Deputy, as a part-time officer in Andale, and 3 years in Sedgwick County Sheriff Detention Facility. He began working for the Haysville Police Department in November of 2020. He's been assigned to the patrol section and most recently as a school resource officer for Campus High School. He's also one of the firearms instructors for the department. With his promotion to sergeant, he'll be assigned to the patrol section on the night shift, and he's married to his wife Sherry and has 4 kids. So, here's your badge here. If you want to say anything, feel free.
I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. Proud to be a member of the department here in Haysville, so I'll continue working moving forward. So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, next we have item B, proclamation of Parks and Recreation Month. Designation of July as Park and Recreation Month. Whereas parks and recreation programs are an integral part of communities throughout this country, including Haysville, Kansas. And whereas our parks and recreation are vitally important to establish and maintaining the quality of life in our communities, ensuring the health of all citizens and contributing to the economic and environmental well-being of a community and region. And whereas parks and recreation programs build healthy, active communities that aid in the prevention of chronic disease, provide therapeutic recreation services for those that are mentally or physically disabled, and also improve the mental and emotional health of all citizens. And whereas parks and recreation programs increase a community's economic prosperity through increased property values, expansion of the local tax base, increased tourism, and the attraction and retention of businesses and crime reduction. And whereas parks and recreation areas are fundamental to the environmental well-being of our community. And whereas parks and natural recreation areas improve water quality, protect groundwater, prevent flooding, improve the quality of air we breathe, provide vegetative buffers to development, and produce habitat for wildlife. And whereas our parks and natural recreation areas ensure the ecological beauty of our community and provide a place for children and adults to connect with nature and recreate outdoors. And whereas the U.S. House of Representatives has designated July as Parks and Recreation Month. And whereas the City of Haysville recognizes the benefits derived from parks and recreation resources. Now therefore be it resolved by myself that July is recognized as Park and Recreation Month for the City of Haysville, Kansas. So we do have a lot of great parks in our city. All right, presentation and approval of minutes. Minutes of June 10th, 2024. Councilman Benner.
I make a motion, we approve the minutes of the June 10, 2024 business meeting.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of June 10th, 2024. Any discussion? Question, please.
Brewster.
Yes.
Walters.
Abstain.
Barton.
Yes.
Ewart. Abstain. Benner.
Yes.
Harton.
Yes.
Crum.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
All right, next we have item 1, citizens to be heard. Do we have any citizens that would like to speak tonight? Not seeing any. We'll move on to item 2, approval of license and bonds. We have none tonight. Item 3, introduction of ordinances and resolutions. An ordinance amending Chapter 12, Article 1 by creating certain new rules of conduct for city parks and playgrounds. So this is the ordinance that council requested to come back as an ordinance because of issues that had been happening in our parks. Councilman Crum?
I appreciate the work staff doing this. I'm going to make a motion that we approve an ordinance amending Chapter 12, Article 1 by creating certain new rules of conduct for city parks and playgrounds.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the ordinance as presented. Any discussion? Question, please.
Brewster.
Yes.
Walters.
Yes.
Barton.
Yes.
Ewart. Yes. Benner.
Yes.
Harton.
Yes.
Crum.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Next, we have item B, an ordinance deleting Chapter 1, Article 6, Section 603 regarding the Senior Planning Committee. So, we've been asking for volunteers for the planning committee since April, but we've only got a couple volunteers, 3, so we need a lot more than that. So I think our staff does a great job setting up trips and things like that. So there's still, people are still able to go and speak to the staff, and we have coffee and donuts a couple times a month, and they're there all the time. So as far as setting up programs, but they're great at setting up programs, and they definitely listen to the members. So it's kind of hard to have a committee with only a couple people on it.
And it looks like they still can ask for assistance if they fail.
Definitely, yeah. And we have a very active senior center. Councilperson Parton.
I make a motion, we accept the ordinance deleting Chapter 1, Article 6, Section 603 regarding the Senior Planning Committee.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the ordinance deleting Chapter 1, Article 6, Section 603 as presented. Any discussion? Question, please.
Brewster.
Yes.
Walters.
Yes.
Barton.
Yes.
Ewart. Yes. Benner.
Yes.
Harton.
Yes.
Crum.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Next, we have item 4, notices and communications, governing body announcements. Councilman Crum?
Went to a meeting the end of June at the library. They got a $3,000 grant to try to make the library more accessible, maybe to people with disabilities, and had a turnout of about 12 different people from the community. We had the librarian from Nelson was there. We had the director of the Wichita State here in Haysville group, he was there. We had a couple of family members there, people who had disabilities, and they were kind of given information about what things they would like to see. So there was a nice mix of people talking about having at least a couple more meetings perhaps, so might keep your ears open for that. Stuff going on at the library. Today and tomorrow, they're doing a noon stepping stones workshop. Today would be tomorrow would be day 2. Again, on the 9th, they'll be doing the Parents as Teachers Summertime Story Time. They do that every Tuesday at 10:30. And the genealogy group is meeting on the 9th at 2. There'll be a movie matinee at 3 on the 9th as well, Hotel Transylvania. And then at 6 o'clock tomorrow, County Commissioner Lopez, her community advisory group, will be meeting. On the 10th, they've got a special event with the Great Plains Nature Center. Then on the 11th, they're going to do the stepping stones again. So you can do that on the 11th if you'd missed it this time. Play-Doh making activity on the 11th, also from 3 to 6. And Hometown Market, the Friends have a book sale every from 9 to noon on those days that they're gonna be doing. They're gonna be doing, take and make projects are available each week. Quilters meet in the community room on Monday and Thursday mornings. And knitting and crochet groups meet on Tuesday afternoons, and there's so much going on at the library that they had to send out 2 different calendars. So also coming up, they've got a macrame workshop on the 16th. Again, story time on Tuesdays at 10:30. Elemental will be the video or the movie at 3 o'clock on the 16th. Lego Club is meeting at 4 o'clock on the 17th. Noon rope jewelry workshop is coming up on the 18th and the 19th. And I think they're doing that one again. No, tie-dye is the next week on the 22nd, the 23rd. And then on the 27th at 1 o'clock, the Friends at the library will be having an ice cream social and watermelon art drawing contest. And then on the 30th and 31st from 10 to 6, there'll be early voting for the primary election. That's all going on at the library. There's a lot more going on. I'm just not going over everything, but lots of good stuff going on this summer.
All right, thank you. Speaking of the library, library meetings are open meetings, so anybody can go to the library board meeting. They're the last Thursday of the month at 7 o'clock. So always welcome people to attend and just say what they want to say if they want to say anything. Some of the things that are upcoming at the Senior Center. We have there's a new food as medicine program that is on July 12th. Digitize Your Memories program, July 15th. Baseball Museum and TJ Burger outing, July 18th. The annual luau is July 19th, so I've signed up for that, so it's a pretty good program. So if you're a member, I heard that people sign up for the Senior Center to be a member just to be able to go to the luau. So that's how good this is. So. Tissue Paper Flowers, July 22nd. And they're going to Derby Plaza Theater on July 25th. Some recurring events: donuts, coffee and conversation, dominoes, cards, writing craft, bingo, bunko, chair yoga, WSU Well Rep, Alzheimer's Support Group, Enhanced Fitness with Joe, and Crafting Club. So the Haysville numbers for June 2024, number of rides were 165 and 2 new registered riders. Last year at this time we had 317 new riders, but we also were picking up the Hack Soccer Club members, or they're greater because of the Hack Soccer Club numbers and more summer school students that were picked up. And one other announcement on August 7th, which will be prior to our next council meeting. August 7th is National Purple Heart Day, so just be aware of that. All right, next we have B, Sedgwick County Fire Department, Station 34 monthly report. And C, an email from Cox Communications. Item 5, old business, there is none. Item 6, other business, a presentation of audit report. We have Michael Gerber from Forvis Mazars, is that right?
You can say Forvis if you want to, but yes, Forvis Mazars. That's what it is. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, appreciate Mr. Mayor, council members, thank you for having me here today. My name is Michael Gerber. I lead the financial statement audit for the city, and I have 2 items that I want to present to you here today. I believe you have them both in your packets. I want to start by thanking your finance team, Angie and Will as well. Always do a great job getting us what we need to do our job very quickly and get this thing finalized and issued timely. The 2 items that I have for you today, I believe the first thing in your packet is our management letter, more narrative formats. Really just one item that I want to point out here. Each year as a part of our audit procedures, we do a variety of walkthroughs through your cash inflows and outflows cycles, your payroll, just to make sure there's good controls over your cash, make sure that there's people watching where that money's going, making sure there's reviews in process, good segregations of duties. If we found any issues as a result of our audit, we would write those within this letter, either as a material weakness or a significant deficiency. The good news here is that section of this letter is absent, so we have no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies to speak of within our letter based on our procedures. We can't give absolute assurance that there are no issues, but based on our testing, a very clean report. I think that speaks to both this council, your management team, just the tone at the top, to have those good controls in place over your assets. Something we always like to see. The other report that we have, it's about 12 pages in. This is kind of how it starts, just the heading. This is the actual financial statements themselves. One thing that I want to mention here, I don't know how many of you look at financial statements on a regular basis, but usually we report on what we call the accrual basis. So we have fixed assets, long-term debt, receivables, payables, things like that. The city operates under what we call KMAG, which is more of a cash basis type of reporting, and that's allowed here in the state of Kansas. It's kind of unique to the country, but Kansas does allow that. And the reason that I want to mention that is if you turn just past the table of contents, you'll see a letter called our Independent Auditors Report. You'll see a lot of wording like adverse opinion and things like that. Usually that's a red flag. You don't like to see that in a true GAAP set of financial statements. But for your reporting, because you're under that regulatory basis, that cash basis, it's a clean opinion. It's just saying it's not in line with GAAP, but it is clean with regards to your regulatory basis of accounting. So I wanted to point that out just in case, again, if any of you look at financials on a regular basis, that could cause a red flag. It does not in this case. I want to point that out. A few more pages down. Page 4 is really the bulk of this report. This schedule here gets into each fund that you have. It shows your beginning cash balance and then the activity for the year, the receipts, the expenses, and then your ending cash balance. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail, but I will just mention from an expense standpoint, fairly steady from the prior year. Your receipts are up about $1.5 million to $2 million, mainly because you did issue a new temporary note in 2023. That was about $3 million by itself. That cash is still on hand, going to be used for some projects and things like that here in the coming year. But overall cash increased by about $2 million year over year because of that new note that was issued here in the last year. Following this statement is the notes of the financials. No real changes from the prior year, so I'm not going to get into any of those. And the last thing I'm going to mention is starting on page 16 of this report. If you really want to get into the details, each fund has a nice little breakout by detail of the receipts and expenditures, and if that fund does have a budget, it would have a comparison to that budget. So again, if you really want to get into the details, that's going to be the place for you to go. With that covers my prepared remarks. Again, want to express my appreciation for your team here, getting us what we need. But with that, I'll just stand for questions.
Council have any questions? Doesn't look like it. I appreciate your presentation and the report.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's always great when we have great staff and we can, audit reports come back, good, year after year after year. All right, next we have B, consideration of mobile video recorder, body camera storage server replacement. Chief?
Good evening, Mayor and Council again. Tonight we have a proposal to upgrade our server that we currently use to store all of our body cam and car camera video on. The one that we have, we purchased new in 2019 when we replaced body cameras. And when we replaced that, it's done good all this time. It was about 5 years ago. We started to have some issues with it. We recently had one of the drives in the array go out, which causes problems. And then it corrupted some files in there, so now it's having issues storing new videos. So we are looking at upgrading that system to the Evidence Library 4, Evidence Library 5 is the new product. We're currently on Evidence Library 4. We only have one bid for it because it is proprietary through, used to be WatchGuard, and now it's Motorola has bought them. So that's where it comes from. So the server itself is approximately $10,195. And then there's also an annual software license of $4,615 for a total purchase price of $14,810. that we're looking to pay out of the Federal Law Enforcement Trust. And that would be purchased through Motorola, and they'll take care of helping us get that installed and configured properly so everything continues to run smoothly. So we would just entertain a motion to approve that, or I stand for any questions.
Councilman Crum?
Chief, how long do you guys have to keep that stuff on hand? Like, I know you gotta keep paperwork for different things. You used to have to keep them for 7 years or 5 years. How long do we need to keep these?
There is a retention record, or a retention policy that the city has, and currently we're going by that. It varies depending on what the video is. For example, like the test, when we go out every day in the car, we turn on the lights and everything to test everything, make sure it's working. Those stay in the system 24 hours, and then they purge. Things such as serious cases, homicides, rapes, those kind of things, those would stay in permanently. Officer-involved shootings stay in permanently. They're always there. Other things, just depending on statutes and limitations, if a court case goes to a warrant, it'll stay in there longer. If it's just a citation, it'll stay in a certain period of time, and then it'll be okay to go, because by that time the case is taken care of and the appeal time has run out, so we don't need it as evidence anymore, so that would be gone.
So the ones that are in this one right here, will they automatically shift to the new one, or do we have to keep this server somewhere to where those videos are still gonna be available on that server and start a new one, or how's that?
They will stay there. My understanding is some of that information will migrate over and the rest will purge itself out over time. So the more important things will be backed up elsewhere, so that way in case that server completely failed, we're not losing that. We're gonna be able to have it somewhere else. So some of it will migrate over, some of it will purge itself. The system now is starting to have some issues purging when it's supposed to. It's not purging like it's supposed to, and so it was causing that to fill up a little bit. And again, moving over to this new system should take care of that for us.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Councilperson Parton?
There's no other questions. I make a motion, we approve the purchase of the mobile video recorder software, server, cameras, or whatever it is, for $14,810 from Motorola Solutions.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the mobile video recorder, body camera, storage server replacement as presented. Any discussion? Question, please.
Brewster?
Yes.
Walters?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Ewart?
Yes.
Benner?
Yes.
Parton?
Yes.
Crum?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, next we have item C, consideration of cured in place pipe. Tony?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. We have requested proposals for installing cured-in-place pipe for the purpose of rehabbing our sanitary sewer system. We have identified 1,237 linear feet to be rehabbed this year. I've also included a project map in your packet. Instituform Technologies was the only contractor to bid this year. It was the same last year. They're the only one to bid. We're requesting approval to contract with Instituform Technologies in the amount of $70,679. This is a budgeted item and will be paid out of the wastewater budget. I stand for any questions you may have.
Council have any questions?
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Tony, how confident are you that they will do a good job for us? And what experience do we have with them?
So Instituform's done our CIPP project probably at least 3 years in a row. They're very good to deal with. They usually typically get the project done quickly. We actually had this on the agenda for the previous 2 council meetings, hoping that 2 or 3 of the other bidders would actually bid. Finally kind of draw a line in the sand and said, if you don't have it by now, we're moving forward with Instituform. So.
Any other questions? What would council like to do? Councilman Benner?
I make a motion, we approve the bid with Instaform Technologies for $70,679.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the cured in place pipe as presented. Any discussion? Question, please.
Brewster?
Yes.
Walters?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Ewart? Yes. Benner?
Yes.
Parton?
Yes.
Crum?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. All right, Will, you're up. Next, we have item D, presentation of 2025 budget. Approval of notice to exceed revenue neutral rate and publication of notice of public hearings.
Okay, I've got a brief presentation to go along with the memo that was in the packet.
We'll just look at the mill levy as it compares with this tax year and the proposed tax year. The assessed valuation, how that changed between last year and this year. The estimate for city sales tax, the city's 1% sales tax, staff adjustments, personnel detail, debt service that we currently have, and then next steps in the budget process and time for any questions if there are any. This one may be hard to read, but it's a mill levy comparison showing our certified mill rate from last year, the total dollars levied from last year, total dollars proposed in the 2025 budget, and what the mill rate would be, and then the difference. So basically our valuation is based on the June number we received from the county is $91,989,601. The calculated revenue neutral rate the county gave us was 38.565 mils, and the revenue neutral rate is taking the same exact dollars that we levied last year divided by our new value of a mil, which is 91,989, and then that would come out to the 38.565. So what you can see in the 2025 section there, I've got a proposed mill rate of 40.451. That's a reduction of 1.508 mils from the 2024 budget. The assessed valuation last year, our final valuation was just 84.5 million, and it's increased by 7,440,000. For this year's June valuation, we'll get a final valuation again in November. City sales tax this year, as you guys have seen in some of the emails that I send out each month, it's run a little bit lower than the estimate for this year. I've got estimated for next year 1.38 million. 50% of that would be going to streets, 690,000, 40% to park and rec, and 10% into the general fund for property tax reduction. And then I also revised the 2024 estimates based on what we've had so far, and also that we're not going to receive the sales tax for the months of July, August, or September, so I reduced the amount in the budget for those. Staff adjustments, we've had requests for different things in the different parks within the city, just increasing, I guess I'd say, the aesthetic beauty of what we have in the parks, taking care of some things that we don't have time to with just park staff. So in the 2025 budget, starting in January, I've got a horticulturist budgeted to be in the park department. Personnel detail, you guys, as you all know, in May, council approved the new pay chart that was implemented in May of this year based on the compensation and benefits study that we had performed. And also in this year's budget, we had a step increase with a satisfactory performance evaluation, which is effective the first full pay period in July. And then based on compensation study and recommendations for the 2025 budget, I've got a step increase in July of next year with satisfactory performance evaluation. These are some slides I've got on the debt service that we've got right now within the city. As of June 30th of this year, our general obligation bond principal is $7.815 million. Our payment, which that's the principal amount of $780,000. Most of those are set to pay on October 1st. And so once that pays off, our estimated principal balance next year is going to be $7,035,000 at June 30th. Temporary note debt, as Michael from Forbes mentioned, we've got a couple projects that are going on right now. The one he mentioned specifically is Wheatland Village. Infrastructure is going in right now. So that amount's getting paid out to the contractor as that project is installed and constructed. We also have the $870,000 for Grandin Plaza, which is also a new development. And when you add those, plus the $105,000 for the rotary press, which pays off February of next year, we've got $4,900,000 total in temporary notes. Once the rotary press is paid off, that one's gone. The other two will go to permanent financing through bonding and be paid off with special assessments for the developments. The certificates of participation that we have for the Haysville Activity Center, the details are listed there. Our payment for this year will knock off $170,000 in principal, and then by next June, the principal balance will be $2.4 million. This one pays off in 2035. As far as the budget goes, the next steps would be to inform the county clerk of our intent to exceed the revenue neutral rate by motion, state our intent to exceed the revenue neutral rate, include a date, time, and location of the revenue neutral rate public hearing, and also state the proposed tax rate. We would also publish notice of public hearing, and I have hearings because it's a revenue neutral rate hearing and then also a general budget hearing. Hold those hearings, adopt a resolution to exceed revenue neutral rate by a roll call vote, record that vote, then hold a budget hearing and adopt the budget. And that would have to be basically at our September council meeting, because with the revenue neutral rate statute, it has to be between August 20th and September 20th each year. So that falls on our September meeting. Here's a sample motion if council would like to make that based on what's been presented tonight, but also at this time I would take any questions that you guys might have.
Councilman Crum?
Go horticulturist. I'm curious, is that full-time, is that part-time?
Yeah, what I've got it in the budget for is a full-time, and I don't have my paper. I believe the starting rate I had on that, got here, be $18.79. This would also be a new position we would have to create in the personnel manual. So I'd have to come back to council to actually see what the position would be and the rate that it would go in at. But looking at other cities that have a similar type of position, I've got it would be Class E in our pay chart and grade E on the pay chart, $18.79 starting.
Okay, so that was my next question. There's other cities around here that have one.
Yeah, and the mayor helped me look at a few of the different cities that are there, and I don't know, I wrote down Andover had one that was $18.32. Emporia had one that was basically similar, but called a groundskeeper, and their range varied. It was $13.90 to $16.11. And if you remember any others, Mayor, that I didn't write down.
Yeah, they're all right around that range to start off. And there have been several people asking for, because we have volunteers that keep up like our historic district and, you know, plans around the city and Pride Park, things like that. So with people aging and doing less out there, felt the need for horticulturists to do things like that, grounds work, gardening. They'd be part of the park department, so they would help out with the public works park department, during winter months or whatever needs to be done. But yet we'd have a specialist dedicated for things like that.
Okay. There's no other questions. I'll go ahead and make a motion. I move to approve our intent to exceed the revenue neutral rate, set the revenue neutral rate public hearing and budget hearing for September 9th, 2024 at 7 p.m. at City Hall, and the state proposed tax rate to be 40.451 mils as presented.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. Could you put that back up there, please? We have a motion and a second to approve the intent to exceed the revenue neutral rate, set the revenue neutral rate public hearing and budget hearing for September 9th, 2024 at 7 p.m. at City Hall. And the proposed tax rate will be 40.451 mils as presented. Any discussion? Question, please.
Brewster,
Yes.
Walters,
Yes.
Rarden,
Yes.
Ewert,
Yes.
Benner,
Yes.
Parton,
Yes.
Crum,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
All right, thanks. Next we have item 7, Department Reports. A, Administrative Services. Will?
The Haysville Hometown Market this Saturday is having Vintage Days from 8 a.m. to noon. The details are in a Facebook post that we put out on the city's Facebook page, so go ahead and check out all the details of the timing and the events there. There are quite a few things going on in addition to the vendors, carriage rides, I say carriage. I forgot. Carriage rides, horse rides, basically I think it's a shootout, old time Western shootout, recreations. There's all kinds of stuff on there, so go ahead and check that out. There's also a car show. Car show runs from 10 to noon. And yeah, just check out the Facebook post for more details. Also, there's a flyer in the council packet.
That should draw a lot of people to the hometown market. All right, next we have City Clerk, Angie.
I have none.
Next we have Police Chief.
Coming up on August 6th, we have our annual National Night Out celebration. It'll be over at the pool. It'll be from 6 to 8, so we want everybody to feel free to stop by there, say hi, enjoy some food, and the pool will be open. And it's usually a good time, as long as it's not too hot. Hopefully we get the decent weather for that, but I guess time will tell. The other thing is our visiting officer this evening is Officer Elijah Perry. He's out there, so say hi to him as you go by. He's on the afternoon shift. So say hi to him as you go by out there. Thanks.
Thanks, Chief. Next, we have Public Works. Tony?
The only thing I have is the recycling center will be open on Saturday, July 27th from 10 a.m. to noon.
Thank you. Next, we have Recreation. Rob?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Last key registration for the 24-25 school year opens today, and it will go quickly, so make sure you get registered. Soccer and volleyball registration both start today as well. The pool will be closing tomorrow, July 9th, for a swim meet. And then we will have our rec appreciation free swim on July 20th from 6:30 to 9:30, and then trivia night on July 27th. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Next, we have item 8, appointments. We have none. Item 9, executive session, nothing scheduled. Item 10, review of expenditures. A, summary of June expenditures. Councilperson Ewert.
I move to receive and file the June expenditures.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to receive and file the June expenditures. Any discussion? Question, please.
Brewster?
Yes.
Walters?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Ewert?
Yes.
Benner?
Yes.
Harton?
Yes.
Crum?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
All right, thanks. Next, we have item 11, consent agenda. We have 2 items on here. Councilman Crum.
I'll make a motion, we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as presented. Any discussion? Question, please.
Brewster?
Yes.
Walters?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Ewert?
Yes.
Benner?
Yes.
Harton?
Yes.
Crum?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
All right, next we have item 12, council items. A, council concerns. One thing I forgot to bring up during announcements, but everybody should have the Kansas Government Journal on the bench. So if you look on page 76, there's a great article on there that shows a few pictures of the Mayor's Youth Leadership Council. So it's, this goes out to every city in the state of Kansas. So it's well, I've been doing interviews with the Mayor's Youth Leadership Council last several weeks. So I think we have some great students that'll be part of this. So take a look at this article on spare time, and great pictures, and kids had fun. So take a look at it. All right, any concerns from council? Nothing?
Well, I have one. Tony,
Yes.
there's a house on 7th Street, 2 houses, 328, the one just next door to them, west of them. Car still in the driveway at 328, graffiti on the front door. No one's lived there for about 2 years now. And nothing's been done.
Okay.
So I'd like to have them check it out, please.
Will do.
Thank you.
All right, any other concerns? Councilman Crum?
Who's responsible for the ditches on 63rd Street on the south side?
Central County.
Okay.
They typically probably get mowed once a year. And we're putting a sidewalk through there starting next Monday. I could foresee us having to mow a mower's width on each side, because it's gonna be our residents, walking that and frequenting that direction, but, yeah, it's Central County.
Okay, because there's a couple of spots down there that are, I think it's probably taller than me.
That's chronic.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
All right, anything else? If not, we'll move on to item B, council action request updates.
All right, update for Coppertail Edition. Development was mowed and completed. They did avoid mowing directly around the construction activity. We've made contact with them and told them to please keep a close eye on it as we continue construction. So the case considered closed. The one on North Ward Parkway, just north of Grand, tree limb was trimmed, and I threw the trash can in their yard. No, I'm just kidding. Trash can was removed from the streets. Case considered closed as well. And then 929 West Sumi, forgive me because I will read Chief's response here. Police responded to a call at 929 Sumi for a noise complaint. Officers educated the resident about making excessive noise and disturbing the neighbors. PD contacted them on the evening of the 23rd. They will continue to monitor the area during routine patrols and take appropriate action if they find violations. And this case is considered closed as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Tony. Next, we have item 13, adjournment.
Mayor, make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn tonight's meeting. Any discussion? Question, please.
Brewster,
Yes.
Walters,
Yes.
Barton,
Yes.
Ewart,
Yes.
Benner,
Yes.
Harton, yes, Crone,
Yes.
Thompson.